There's something magnetic about Hugh Jackman. He doesn't just play heroes, he lives like one. But not because his life was easy or perfect. His journey began far from the red carpets and flashing cameras. In the quiet suburbs of Sydney, Australia, where a young boy learned early that life doesn't always go as planned. He once said, "Bravery is feeling fear, but doing it anyway." That single sentence defines his entire life. Because behind the charm and the laughter, behind Wolverine's claws and Broadway spotlight, lies a story about courage, loss, faith, and relentless self-belief. Hugh Michael Jackman was born in 1968, the youngest of 5 children. His parents were English immigrants trying to build a life in Australia. For a while, the family was whole, full of laughter and warmth. But when Hugh was 8, everything changed. His parents separated. His mother, overwhelmed and struggling, returned to England, leaving Hugh and his siblings with their father, Christopher. He remembers waking up one morning, walking into the kitchen, and realizing she was gone. He described that moment as the day my childhood ended. It was his first heartbreak, and it shaped everything that came after. He grew up missing his mother, craving stability, and questioning why people leave. But rather than becoming bitter, he turned that pain into empathy. It became the emotional depth you see in his characters, that mix of strength and vulnerability that connects to millions. He said often that his father was his anchor, a man of discipline, faith, and quiet endurance. "My dad taught me that true strength is gentle," Hugh once said. Watching his father raise 5 kids alone gave him a living example of resilience, not the loud, cinematic kind, but the quiet kind that holds everything together when it's falling apart. As a teenager, Hugh was athletic and full of energy, but he didn't stand out. He wasn't the best student or the most popular. He studied journalism in college, planning for a normal life. But deep down, he wanted something more, something that lit him up. That's when he stumbled into acting. On a whim, he took a drama class during his final year at university. One performance later, he felt something he'd never felt before: peace. "When I acted," he said, "it was like the world made sense for the first time." But the dream didn't come easy. After university, he couldn't afford acting school, so he worked odd jobs to save up. When he finally got into the Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts, he was older than most students, broke and filled with self-doubt. He remembers thinking, "Everyone else is better than me." But that humility became his strength. He worked harder than anyone. First in, last out. Always curious, always learning.